with us Professor Prashant Salwan sir from IIM Indore. He's going to address you all on the future of competitiveness for MBA graduates, followed by the address of Mr. Rohit Inani, Director Corporate Relations. Then we have another yet fun ice-breaking activity called Business Quiz. In the introductory session, I would like all of you to meet our guest speaker, Professor Prashant Salwan sir from IIM Indore. Professor Prashant Salwan sir is a professor of strategy and international business at Indian Institute of Management, Indore, India. He is an alumnus of London School of Economics and Political Science, UK. He has approximately 23 years of experience, out of which 15 years in academics and 8 years in industry. He has PhD in technological management and strategy, a two postgraduate degree in management and international trade. He has been educated and trained at University of Pune, London School of Economics and Political Science UK, Harvard Business School, University of Michigan, Ross School of Management, IIM Bangalore and IIM Calcutta. A British Chevening scholar and a Fulbright scholar. He has also undergone a training in leadership for higher education institutes in University of Illinois at Urbana Campaign. He has taught in USA, France, UK, UAE, and India. He has guided 8 PhD students and has given invited talks at Ohio State University, Texas, University of Dallas, Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania. He's a regular invite for the Business Model and Innovation Lecture as Wharton School Center for Advance in Management. So far, he has provided customized training and consulting to the Government of India and various Indian and foreign multinationals, including Thomas Cook, Panasonic Suzuki, Japan, ONGC, GAIL, Aditya Birla Group, SBI, etc. He is a World Bank consultant, including the consultant of UNDP, MHRD, and MP government. Dr. Salwan has around 75 research publications in national and international research journals, including Harvard Business Review, Journal of International Business and Education, UK JKM RTM, and Indian Journal of Industrial Relations, and has published 48 case studies, including in the Harvard Business School publishing. Till date, Dr. Prashant Salwan has co-authored 4 different textbooks in the area of international business, international marketing, takeovers, restructuring, and corporate governance, merger and acquisitions, published by the McGraw-Hill Pearson and the Sterling Publishers. It is an honor to have you, sir. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Um, Thanks a lot, ma'am. It was nice to be here. So let me share my screen. Sure. So welcome to you all. It's really nice to be with you all in this particular circumstances. Today I'm going to present something very different here, where I'm going to tell you because I was informed that you are all management students and this is your introduction to the management per se. So I'll be just introducing you that how competitiveness is currently and how will the competitiveness change in the future. Then I'm also going to discuss with you the various skill sets will be required with it. Clear? So my presentation will be approximately for half an hour, and then after that, I'm open for discussion. So I believe we can learn more in discussion because even in IIMS we teach more on discussion. We have case study and reading. So this is how we're going to work out. Okay. Now, to start with, if you look at from the point of view of competitiveness and look at the current scenario, there are a few things which comes very differently here. So, like for example, if I want to say that due to COVID-19, geopolitical, economic cycles, and many other forces that has substantial effects on the fortune of business are inherently uncertain. So, what happens here is, if you look at COVID-19 happen, nobody thought COVID-19 is going to happen. Correct, a lot of uncertainty, activity, perspectives are coming into there. There's very high volatility in the business environment because and now people are saying that this high volatility would actually be the new norm, in the sense it's the everything will not be remain the same. Volatility will remain, so it may necessary that this time it is COVID-19 volatility, it can be something economic or technology volatility. So there may be or demographic volatility, that a lot of change and perspective and activities are coming into place. And while the scenario analysis is worthwhile exercising to rational access some of the uncertain business are facing, there is no guarantee for getting it right. So what we need to do here is please understand something. we need to develop ourselves, and to be really frank, develop ourselves as an agile organization and a resilient organization. So if we can do that activity, then only we can survive. It's not the normal strategic tools which will actually work. It's about how do you develop yourself internally stronger, which will help you to grow more and more higher. Your business context is and will remain uncertain. That is a very clear cut activity. But if you get moving now, you can ride the waves of uncertainty instead of being overpowered by them. So issue here is you whatever you don't know what is going to happen in the future, or you don't know how the COVID-19 is going to affect. Like for example, in April 2020, when Madhya Pradesh government told us to analyze the effect of COVID on the economy of Madhya Pradesh state, we did a huge study. That was a huge practical study where we studied about industrial effect of COVID, we studied agriculture effect of COVID, we studied the service effect of COVID, linked it to the Madhya Pradesh growth perspective, and it's a huge report came. And approximately we said there'll be a loss of 48,000 crores. And but if the government invests in these steps, that will help the government to minimize the effect of that activity. Government of Madhya Pradesh really implemented them. I should really congratulate the state government who really did amazing work in launching a lot of policies decision, a lot of operational decisions in Madhya Pradesh state, so that the effect was reduced commensurately. Now it would have actually crossed more than 1 lakh crore rupees as a loss. So that was one of the things they did. So issue here is we need to be prepared ourselves currently so that whatever future things happen, we are able to reply to that. So the last sentence which I'm mentioning to you here is your business context is and will remain uncertain. But if you get moving now, you can ride the wave of uncertainty instead of being overpowered by them. Clear? So that is what you have to understand. Now, to understand it more in depth, just look at this slide which I'm showing it to you. Now, India suffered the first recession in 1999. Second recession came in year 2008, and that was due to the global pressures and activity. If you look at very careful this issue here, and can somebody tell me when you look at this particular slide, what do you get it? What do you understand by this slide? Anyone? It can be a faculty or a student. What do you understand when you look at this slide, which I'm showing it to you? What are the things which you feel, yes, sir, I think so. This is what the slide is actually telling you. Anyone? Yeah, anyone. So you don't have to raise hand, just speak, or in the chat box you can mention. I believe Zoom is a good tool to really work out. Yes, Megha Gupta. Anyone? You're all are muted.
Sir, all are muted, but chat box is open.
Okay. So in chat box, what they are saying, proactive strategies, you should take action according to scenario. But we just mentioned that scenario sometime may not work, but you have to analyze things, correct? Now just look at this. When recession happened, na, firms were similar. So if you look at, there were firms when they analyzed it, so and they realized that 3,449, they were the similar. They had same revenue, operation, profit, everything was the same. But some firms proactively took some decisions, and the decision of proactive decision making, which resulted in proper analysis, activity, developing agility, which helped them to accelerate growth. Those firms who acknowledged recession late, frankly speaking, had a lot of struggle to bounce. Correct. So if you look at very careful the distance now, we may be similar, but when recession hits you, then you have to analyze very properly that yes, there are some opportunities I need to shift. Like we are working with many Indian FMCG firms, and one of the firms we worked, if I can take the name Marico, I was astonished when the COVID-19 happened. Na, they developed their operations so agile. They launched 6 new products which actually replied to what the customer wanted in that industry, from sanitizer to different type of products and activities, which really affected their growth to remain same, nor they would have a negative growth rate. Correct. So you have to understand that how a firm analyzes the market and grow. That's a very critical part. To do that, let us understand one word called competitive advantage. When we look at this word called competitive advantage, now you will study that in your strategy. So I'm not going to go in depth of that, but I can just tell you that it doesn't mean comparing to competitor. Competitive advantage means the difference between willingness to pay and supplier opportunity cost. Means how much the customer is ready to will to pay for your product and how much cost it incurs to develop that value. So remember these two words: value creation, capture. So these are the two things which are very critical, whichever area you take in management will be very helpful for you. Now just look at this table which I'm showing it to you. This table, there was a research done by Pankaj Gimawat and a very great management professor who said that we analyzed the industry for last 20 years and saw that there are some industries who were making profit and some industry who were making loss. So when some industry who were making profit versus somebody who was making loss, then he wanted to ask a question: why did some industries making profit versus why some industries not making profit? When he went in depth, then he analyzed, boss. He said, okay, let us take one industry called steel and one industry called pharma. So let me take one industry called steel and pharma and try to analyze these issues in a very different perspective. Somebody saying that I should go full screen. Just a minute. There is some problem coming. Wait a minute. I'll just make it full screen for you. 2 minutes. I'll just make a full screen for you because I just received a message that it's not full screen. So I'm just doing it full screen for you. Yeah. Can you hear? Can you now? It's full screen. It's okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is
Yeah.
okay.
Done. So now when you just look at this thing, so that professor, what he did was he did a basic analysis. He said, okay, some industries are making profit, some are making loss. Let me go inside one industry and see why that industry is making profit and why the industry is making loss. So he just took that analysis. If you look at this, then he went inside a company called pharma industry, which was actually making profit. So if you look at very careful, pharma is making profit, is one of the most profit making industry. But when he went inside that industry per se, he realized that yes, there were some industries who were making profit, but there were many of them who were making loss. Now, for example, if I ask you why is pharma making money for last 20 years, what would you say? Why is pharma company making profit for last 20 years? What would you say? Anyone? Now also it is making money. So somebody is saying the pharma is making profit because there's a demand, correct? So now if somebody says that because everybody gets unwell, so when there's a recession, the demand of pharma will go more higher and things like that. And there are people, so even there's a economic recessions or growth, the pharma industry is going to grow because there are people to buy that product because everybody requires it at any time, good or bad, you require that time. But if you go inside that industry, there were some making profit, but many of them were making loss. So he got more perplexed that why some companies are making profit versus some are making loss. Then he went to that industry, which is actually making loss for last 20 years, and that industry is steel. So if you look at last 20 years, steel is making a lot of loss. So he went inside that industry to analyze. He realized there were some companies who were making loss. There's no doubt about it. But there were some companies who were making profit even higher than the pharma companies. So now you should look at this very careful. Now I want you to analyze it properly. If you look at the industry scenario per se as a whole, you will find that for 20 years, pharma made profit. But when we go inside that industry, we realize some are making profit, some have not made profit. If we go to a steel industry, which for last 20 years, industry per se has made loss, but if you go inside the steel industry, we realize that some have made profit even far higher than even the pharma companies. So if somebody asks why pharma steel made loss for last 20 years, you will say, sir, demand is not there. There's an economic recession happening and so many things like that. But then if that thing has happened, then frankly speaking, other companies should not make profit. Correct? Then the issue here is, now if I ask you, then why did in recession there were some companies, some steel companies who made actually above average returns, even more than pharma? What would you say? Why would you say? Why would some, even in recession, there is somebody, some companies made profit versus others? What is your reaction? What is your take on that? Why would you say, sir, in recession, sir, steel should make loss, but some steel companies have made a lot of profit? What is the reason? Who will tell me this? Adopted means what? What did they must have done? Now remember one thing, steel is a commodity, pharma is a differentiator. correct? Because you invest into R&D, you have your product. Then why in a commodity market somebody can make money? So just guess and tell me. What other reason? Commodity steel तो steel है, उसमें क्या differentiation करेंगे आप? Anyone? See, please understand, I'm going to give me some reasons. Steel is steel, na? It can be SAIL steel or Tata steel or something called Ratlam steel. What is the difference? It's a commodity. What these steel companies who actually did above average returns like Nucor Steel and others activities, you know what they did was they did two things together. They minimized the cost of production, but also differentiated by product by having multiple applications. Now they realize steel can be for utensil, steel can be also for automobile, steel can be used for multiple other activities. So application of the product increased tremendously. Correct. Second, they parallelly reduce the cost of production by using multiple other activities. So my cost is also reducing, but I'm also differentiating. Clear? So you have to analyze the industry in an excellent and critical manner. Like I'll tell you one very beautiful example. We made my strategic management book. I have a case on Tata Motors. So I interviewed the MD of Tata Motors, Mr. Kant, who was the MD in 1999 when the first time recession suffered by Tata Motors. So when I went to him and was discussing with him, I said, sir, when recession happened, what was your first reply or reaction per se, to be more precise? He said, my first reaction was when I analyzed the industry, I realized what? That the requirement of commercial vehicles had totally reduced tremendously. And so what I did first was I reduced my break-even point. You will read all those things when you do your MBA. So, and to reduce the break-even point, I talked about procurement strategy, human resource management, training and development strategy, using of IT. All these things I did. So I reduced the break-even point from 64 to 42, meaning in the sense that even if I can produce 42 commercial vehicles, I will still make profit. So that's what 43 vehicle, I'll still make profit. Second thing he did was, okay, recession-wise is not coming, but I have to also invest in the future. Then he say, what is going to happen? Then he analyzed the market. He realized there was 15,000 kilometers of road construction were happening. Government of India, that my Vajpayee government had come and implemented 14,000 of kilometers of road construction called Golden Triangle. And that helped him. He realized was when this Golden Triangle is going to come in the next 3 years, there'll be huge demand of commercial vehicles, but different type of commercial vehicles called HCVs, higher commercial vehicles. So what he did was he said, then I was producing only LCVs. So, but I need HCVs in next 3 years. What should I do? Then he said, I went for acquisition of Do Motors so that I can get technology for higher commercial vehicles and went to Hispanic Spain for an open joint venture, a flexible joint venture in the sense that I can increase the joint venture and become my wholly owned subsidiary for buses. And in 2003, the demand really zipped. Now, if you're a chairman of a company where your demand has really gone down due to recession, you have to work in two parameters. One, reduction of the cost. And the second part here is thinking about the growth opportunities, which Tata Motors did. So this is what was done by steel companies. And in pharma company, those who made loss, even if the industry is booming a lot, was because they did not differentiate, neither invest into R&D, and did not realize what is going to be the future of the products and continued selling the same products. And they were all producing good products, but generics, when it entered, they killed those industries. Clear? So we have to understand how external things are changing and change ourselves internally. So they say, as per research, industry level effect appear to account to 10 to 20% of the variation in business profitability, while stable between industry effect account to 30 to 45%, and remaining were assigned to fluctuation that happen year to year. It means what? It means 60% of the profit and loss of a company depends upon how the company is managing its internal resources and capabilities, analyzing the future market, and developing the growth and resilience strategy. That's very critical. So यदि हम कहें भाई demand नहीं है, हम नहीं बेच पाएंगे, nothing of that sort is going to happen. The company can really bounce back effectively if we try to analyze it properly. So competitive advantage is a firm is said to have a competitive advantage over its rival if it can driven a wider wedge between willingness to pay it generates among buyers and cost it incurs, indeed a wider wedge than a competitors have achieved. Correct? So more competitive advantage, more profit within the industry. So that's what we define as. Clear? Now to understand these things very clearly, there are 5 types of strategies which is we implement, like adaptive, shaping, classical, and visionary. And the fifth one is called renewal. To understand them properly, let me share with you a video, and we'll just see a small video. Okay, sorry, let us see this video.
biggest changes in business.
You can see the video now and hear it also?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
One of the biggest changes in business over the past decade has been an increase in the diversity of business environments, ranging from stable to highly unpredictable, fixed to highly malleable, favorable to harsh. To succeed, leaders need to match their approach to strategy with their business environment. To facilitate this, BCG created the Strategy Palette. Let's explore how it works with a simple example. Your lemonade business is in a stable and predictable environment. Use the classical approach. Analyze, plan, execute. Joggers are your best customers, so position your stand along the trail and become the biggest lemonade business in town. Uh-oh, freak storms. You can't predict the weather, so forget planning. Try the adaptive approach. As the storm clouds move, so does the best spot for your stand. Experiment to track your customers and become the most agile player in your uncertain market. People are bored of lemonade stands on quiet streets. You need to revive your business with a visionary approach. Remember the bus stop by the park? It's dingy, but has the most potential customers. Give it a sweep, fresh paint, decorations. Be persistent. Nice lights. Now, people will line up for your pioneering project. Uh-oh. Jealous grown-up competitors say kids shouldn't put so much energy into lemonade. Regulation may be in the works. You need to shape your environment, orchestrating events to your eventual advantage. Tell customers about the crackdown to gain support, and promote your new Street Vendor Finder app. In return, your new vendor network will push your product. Red alert. The lemon crop has been ruined by caterpillars. Time for renewal. Cut back and save your allowance. Then pick a new growth strategy, say a visionary idea. Sell seasonal drinks like pumpkin spice lattes, hot cocoa, and green smoothies. To succeed, leaders must choose the right approach at the right time in each part of the business, selecting and refining the collage of approaches to stay tuned to changing environments.
Just see this video once again. I request you to see this video once again to understand the basic 5 strategies.
One of the biggest changes in business over the past decade has been an increase in the diversity of business environments, ranging from stable to highly unpredictable, fixed to highly malleable, favorable to harsh. To succeed, leaders need to match their approach to strategy with their business environment. To facilitate this, BCG created the Strategy Palette. Let's explore how it works with a simple example. Your lemonade business is in a stable and predictable environment. Use the classical approach. Analyze, plan, execute. Joggers are your best customers, so position your stand along the trail and become the biggest lemonade business in town. Uh-oh, freak storms. You can't predict the weather, so forget planning. Try the adaptive approach. As the storm clouds move, so does the best spot for your stand. Experiment to track your customers and become the most agile player in your uncertain market. People are bored of lemonade stands on quiet streets. You need to revive your business with a visionary approach. Remember the bus stop by the park? It's dingy, but has the most potential customers. Give it a sweep, fresh paint, decorations. Be persistent. Nice lights. Now, people will line up for your pioneering project. Uh-oh. Jealous grown-up competitors say kids shouldn't put so much energy into lemonade. Regulation may be in the works. You need to shape your environment, orchestrating events to your eventual advantage. Tell customers about the crackdown to gain support, and promote your new Street Vendor Finder app. In return, your new vendor network will push your product. Red alert. The lemon crop has been ruined by caterpillars. Time for renewal. Cut back and save your allowance. Then pick a new growth strategy, say a visionary idea. Sell seasonal drinks like pumpkin spice lattes, hot cocoa, and green smoothies. To succeed, leaders must choose the right approach at the right time in each part of the business, selecting and refining the collage of approaches to stay tuned to changing environments.
Now, when you see this video which I showed it to you and then discuss the whole activity with you, if you have looked at very carefully, na, so there are 5 basic things which each firm has to do, because there are 2 things. One, which they know what is going to happen, and second thing, they can change the thing which is currently happening. But sometimes unpredictability is very high, and I also can't change. So I have to actually start to think differently to manage those activities. To understand that very thing, classical means when you operate in an industry whose environment is predictable but hard for your company to change, a classical strategy style has the best chances for success. Adoptive means iterative experimentation as the basis of success under unpredictable, non-malleable conditions. Visionary, envisaging and materializing new value creation ideas when both predicting and shaping are possible. Because it's in your hand to envisage those activities. Shaping, an ecosystem and platform-based approach for unpredictable, malleable circumstances. And renewable, shift the pandemic transformation to ensure survival under severe resource constraints. So, and this is what in the current scenario here is, each firm has to renew their strategy per se to decide what they need to do and how they're going to come into place. I'll also share with you, we are working with 50 hospitals on and reinventing their business models. You will understand what actually I'm saying. I'll show you one small clip also, that how the future of hospital will look like. So just look at this, a small case about Marico, as I was mentioned to you. So after the COVID hit, they analyzed the consumer demand for health and hygiene products. Marico was quick to launch Medicare hand sanitizer to cater to the huge unmet demand for hand sanitizer. This was quickly followed by a new product launch called Veggie Clean to disinfect fruit and vegetables. This category to be an emerging market, and Marico was the first mover advantage in this category. Then the second one, the digital-only brand, Keep Safe, was launched with products like hand sanitizer, multiple purses, disinfectant, toilet seat disinfectant, hygiene hand wipes, and intimate wash wipes for women. Also, a new range of disinfect sprays called Marico Protect was launched with 2 variants, one for home and one for travel-related purposes. So look at how consumption orientation, change of product profile, change of product attributes really helped Marico to have above average returns. Immunity is a category where Marico entered in August by launching Safola Honey. This has been followed by launches of new products like Kada, turmeric milk, and soon to be launched Chyawanprash. Marico is betting big on the category to gain market share. So just look at, yes, I had something called as a product called as Safola Honey earlier, Safola, sorry. And now the same brand, I'm expanding, brand extension I'm doing by launching new other products, from basic food or breakfast items to other type of activities. So we have to analyze these things in a very different perspective. So there are 3 applications of strategy. One is called lead, animate the strategy collage, combine multiple of purposes, and select, correct? Classical, adaptive, visionary, renewable, correct? Which I've just mentioned to you. But when you look at these strategies, they have a different environment, have different type of skills required. Now, see this very careful, which I really want you to see. For classical, you require abstract thinking, frugality, focus of attention. For adaptive, you require something called as capacity to learn from trial and error, ability to quickly create, implement a new solution, ability to quickly evaluate amount of financial transaction. Clear? For shaping, when you want to shape a strategy, you can say, sir, we can have ability to create, ability to quickly evaluate amount, capacity to learn from risk and ambiguity. For visionary, you will say ability to quickly recover from mistakes, tendency to act quickly, persistent in the face of small change of success. But for renewable, which is required in the current and the future, see, when you will complete your MBA and go, still it will be under renewal strategy. You have to focus and lot of attention. Then you require ability to quickly create, implement a new solution. So you have to be very agile. So naturally, a company will take you, especially if you look at FMCG or banks and or hospitals, wherever you want to go, they will say that how agile you are, how fast are you thinking, correct? Well, how will you develop this thing perspective to me? Ability to quickly evaluate amount of financial transaction, a capacity to learn from risk and ambiguity, predisposition to control behavior, and longer memory span. So what happens here is for renewable strategy, you need to actually implement these type you or to develop these type of skills. These skills are focus, attention, ability to quickly create, ability to quickly evaluate amount, capacity to learn risk and ambiguity, and predisposition of a control behavior, and long memory scan. So these skill sets you really need to develop. Now, how to develop this skill set here is what I'll do here is let me show you one McKinsey article. This McKinsey article actually talked about, if you look at this thing, this talks about to emerge stronger from the COVID-19 crisis, companies should start rescaling their workforces now. Now, how do you mean by reskilling? Reskilling, they say, is the company has to think or build a new skill set for employees to be part of your business respond to changes. Like first is expand the ability to operate a fully digital environment. So naturally, you have to work in a very digital environment, stating that build technical awareness and skills so employees can fully operate in a remote world and productive within the company's ecosystem, like client, partners, suppliers, public authorities. If moving to a more tech and data enabled model, a basic understanding of critical tech and data concepts and process will be essential, including data visualization, applied machine learning, and advanced analytics. In commercial service industries such as banking, companies are likely to widen the scope of those having digital upskilling. So if you have these skills, so not only banking, but now all industries are going to take you. So understand that how you have to develop those activities together. Then you have something called develop cognitive skills to ensure that critical players can respond to the need of redesign and innovation. So naturally, you may be FMCG or you may be in telecom or whatever it is. You have to develop, or especially manufacturing, you have to develop critical thinking and sound project management are needed in an atmosphere of increased autonomy brought by remote work. Problem solving, creative, and innovation are required to take on challenges of a rapidly changing environment and business models. For example, in order to relocate production strategically, companies will have to rethink critical components of their supply chain, including sourcing and logistics, correct, which will typically require enhanced creativity, innovation, problem solving, and project management skills. So issue here is, if you look at very careful now, where I'm taking you from initial skill set required is a digital environment to remain very pertinent in the future. Second, develop cognitive skills. So naturally innovation, critical thinking, all these design thinking need to work out with project management skills. Then strengthen social and emotional skills like advanced interpersonal skills are needed to ensure that professionals ties are kept strong despite distance. These skills will also crucial for leaders trying to drive change and support their employees remotely, and build adaptability and resilience skills to thrive during an evolving business situation by supporting critical employees to build their self-awareness, self-confidence, and self-reliance so they can use new experience as a source of learning. In addition, help them develop personal toolkits to manage time, boundaries, mental wellness, and reinforce resilience. So a company really need to develop these skill set in its people. And frankly speaking, if you have those skill sets, naturally company will be happy to recruit you rather than to recruit you far better. So there are some 7 strategies which I'm actually showing it to you here. So let me show you this McKinsey, which said that there are the 7 main thing which you require to develop the technology which any company would like to develop. The first one is develop, like for example, faster continuously delivering of features, more stable environment, and reduce operation time. So agile, it's correct. So what type of technical skills you require? Agile product lifecycle management, development, continuously integrated delivery, and microservice architecture. For customer experience, for example, you're going in a marketing point of view, you require significant skills in customer behavior as a result of COVID-19 and rising customer expectation, and need to deliver top experience across a wide array of channels. prioritizing on personal over generic design. So what you have to do here is you have to continuous test and learn cycles of predictive and nudge analytics, design thinking, test and learn at scale, automated testing and prototyping. So these are the skill sets you need to develop when actually you're focusing on one segment called customer experience. So that's very fast. You have to develop those activities. Then cloud. So infrastructure increasing provide through next gen cloud architecture. Time to market service is vastly improved. Solutions are more easily scalable, and acceleration of tech transformation and increased source of competitive value. So that can be done through a lot of other strategies which have been mentioned here. Automation is one more thing. So for automation, just look at those numbers which I'm showing it to you. Significant a number of tasks automatable. About 22% of the workforce activities across Europe would be automated by 2030. For example, through end-to-end automation across development, testing, deployment process, acceleration, development, and reduce errors, you can imagine that the whole thing is going to change. Now, if you look at this point and what Government of India is implementing, so in India also 22% more than that would be now converted to automation. So you require cognitive analytical integration, RPT technology, automation, machine learning, correct, quantum computing, all these things you have to learn. So I just want you to, why I'm showing it to you this, especially platform and products. So if you want to go to an IT firm or and work in an e-commerce firm, you really have to know life cycle management, industry, internet of things, vertical software as a service platform. In data management, you may go to any industry from manufacturing to service, anywhere you want to go, you have to know this. So real-time data drive and insight, data democratization, correct? You require synthetic data, data governance, data management. All these things becomes very critical. And then cybersecurity and privacy, which is one of the most critical thing which you have to understand. Why? Because data breaches are going to go be very high. So you have to manage security, zero trust security, automated testing, data protection law and practices. These are the skills you require. So once you have started doing MBA and you focus on which industry you are going, make sure that you develop these skill sets also. Correct. So these are the skill sets which I'm showing it to you, so that you remain pertinent and the companies will try to take you to there directly for in the recruitment part of it. If you look at further, where I'm actually taking you, if you see this issue, there is some very positive activity. And this activity here is, if you look at from the emerging market point of view versus mature market point of view, you will understand that emerging market are going to grow. They plan to net increase their spending versus in mature market, they are not increasing. So the future is where? Future is in India. Future is in China, Vietnam, Indonesia, Thailand, wherein the growth is going to happen post COVID-19, not in mature markets. So everybody is going to come to India per se. So please develop your skill set and activity so that you can sustain yourself in the future. Look at this slide, which talks about the top criteria, top categories which are going to spend. Now, if you look at India here, which industries are going to be spent the highest? Proactive medicine, preventive medicine, fresh foods, in-home entertainment, home Wi-Fi connection, saving, vitamins and supplements, product, medical procedures, grocery and staple, correct? All these issues are going to are the categories which are going to grow a lot in India. Correct. So please start thinking that what type of skill set you require and try to make yourself a differentiated person so that you can get good job and activity there. Look at another one. If you look at India per se, fresh foods, e-commerce are going to increase. Packaged goods, 22% increase are going to happen in the future. Personal care, 24%. Household care, 31%. Vitamins and supplement, 32% growth is going to happen. So when you look at these growth which are happening across various product segments, you can then decide whatever skill sets you require, both from the point of view of management as well as from the point of view of the technology, correct? Which you can grow and develop. Look at the generation Z in customer over 40 are more likely to reduce spending. So if you look at very careful, just look at this. In India, the spending of generation X may reduce, but millennium 26 to 40 is increasing. So naturally 26 to 40 are more technology savvy people, more consumption. So you have to start thinking and developing various products and activities for them. So this is what I wanted to tell you. So if you look at the organization growth, there's something called resilience nerve center, organization simplification, brands of leaders, unlocking balance sheet, sharpening digital program, and through life cycle interventions. So these are the things which are very critical here, because just look at this slide. This is the last slide I'm showing it to you, where just see this very carefully. In 2017 versus 2030, correct? Earlier, frankly speaking, physical and manual labor was required. 2017 was just 3 years back. Basic cognitive was 57. Higher cognitive, around 71 hours worked, versus social emotional 62 versus technology. But look at in change in 2030, you will find the basic cognitive and physical and manual is going to reduce, but the higher cognitive skills, social emotional skills, and technology skills are going to grow very, very high. Just look at these numbers where I'm showing it to you. And what are the skill set required is in the bottom. Just look at this thing, from basic digital skills, advanced IT skill, entrepreneurship initiatives, correct? All these things actually help you to develop. So look at the creativity, complex information processing, interpretation, leadership and management activities. So please develop those skill set in you here. That will help you to really go very, very high. So my only request here is look at how industries are changing, look at how things are really coming in the line, and look at how new technology, what type of technologies are going to require in the future for that. So develop those skill sets internally so that you can have a sustained competitive advantage, not only for the firm where you're going to work for, or even it can be an entrepreneurship activity, but also for you as a person. So you'll be relevant in the future knowledge skill set to come. Clear? So this is what I just wanted to mention to you. So I'll stop here now. Correct. I had around 40 minutes I spoke. So any questions you have, I'll be happy to answer your questions. Yeah. Anyone? Any questions you have, any activity you have, I'll be happy to answer. Anyone? Those who raise their hand can just type in the chat box. Yeah. Ali mentioned about I want to start a startup aspirant and what need of the market I'm going to work it out from. There's something called opportunity recognition, Alil. So there's a whole process. There are 7-step process for entrepreneurship. Correct. So I believe once you have the class, your faculty are going to take entrepreneurship class, because entrepreneurship is a core course in IIM. So if you have a class, that will be for, they will be happy to make you understand the 7 process of entrepreneurship. That will be more clearer there, Ali. Ujjwal was mentioned, can you please slowly preview the slides so we can gather again? Okay. And Harish said, what will be the scope of business analytics in the future? Business analytics is going to grow, no doubt about it. But make sure when you learn business analytics, there are 2 things that are very critical, Harish. One is you have to understand the platform where you're working on. Second thing, you have to also analyze. Please understand something. Statistics is what is data in, data out, but you have to know how to analyze that data clearly. So please understand your basic subjects very well, from strategy to marketing to operations to finance very well, so that you can link it to the industry key success factors. Each industry has a different key success factors. So the analysis, you have to link to that key success factors and then decide how we can go forward and work out. Look at from the case of Geo. Geo said, I'm not in telecom, I'm actually in data. So data can be used anywhere. It can be used in entertainment. It can be used for industries. It can be used for telecom. And just look at, that's the reason they used an ecosystem which they made above average returns. Correct. So for a telecom firm, company like Google and Facebook are interacting with them. My article is coming in Harvard Business School Publishing. It's going to approved just 2 days back. Within a week, it's going to be there online. Just look at it where I'm actually mentioning to you that the various skill set and how what will Facebook earn from Geo Alliance, what will Geo earn from Facebook Alliance. So that is going to come in a very big perspective. So just read more. I would request you to please read, and read. That will help you to actually further analyze more and do a lot of experimentation, experiencing. That will help you to grow. Now, Devesh mentioned that to start a business, we start on a digital platform, as it's the time digital business are going on. See, digital is an activity which brings you efficiency, correct? So, but you have to, it's not necessary that everywhere this will fit. So that's the reason I told you, key success factors you should know very clearly. You should understand how things are changing and development and how I reduce cost and increase value for the customer. So just start reading, try to start a process. Once you dirty your hands, you learn more and more, okay? Naman mentioned esports industries in India. You see the industry report. I believe your library must be having a lot of data sources, correct? Just take from there and analyze, and then you can work out. You will understand 5 forces, 6 forces analysis, all these things you're going to do, where you will understand is industry good or bad for me to enter, and then decide your differentiation criteria, your positioning strategy, and another type of activity. Aditya mentioned what is the one common. There's nothing called one common strategy. You have to develop agility and resilience. Now, to understand that, each firm has to develop entrepreneurship alertness, leadership agenda, dynamic capabilities, strategic learning, and ambidexterity, exploitation, and exploration. So these all words you'll understand when you go in MBA. That's the reason I'm not going in depth to it. Clear? So these things are required in a firm to develop agility. So once you develop these activities, then things, and these activities can be developed through both person dependent as well as technology dependent. Digital marketing is growing and depends upon the industry where it is in, and depends the skill set you need to develop. Remember this, digital marketing बहुत broad area है, उसके अंदर भी काफी skill sets होते हैं, समझना होता है and then implement करें. Correct? Yeah. No other questions? Human resource management is doing great, but in human resource management, we just did a study with RIL, where we develop using artificial intelligence to develop and train people. So human resource management is good, and in that, how do you use technology to develop and train people and retain people? That's a very critical part which you can understand. Like Sonu, like if you sit there for an Ola car, Ola doesn't come and train you. Automatically, when a person sits, they analyze the whole data of the driver and say in which all areas he needs training. And when he sits in the car, he can't start the car till he finishes that video of the training. You're getting my point. So this is how our linked artificial intelligence and analytics are linked to develop training and development. So it's a huge future for human resource management. Clear. So that's the reason you read, see what is happening in the industry, how things are going, correct? First, you increase your basic skills, upgrade your things, and then you come out, okay? Done then? Thanks, it was great to interact with you all. Already 15 minutes over, yeah? Anything else, ma'am?
Thank you, sir, for such a knowledgeable session. I hope your guidance would have benefited our students. Now, I would request Harshita and Paridhi to provide the vote of thanks to the sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Honorable Speaker of the Day, Dr. Prashant Salwan, sir, Honorable DG, sir, respected Principal Ma'am, faculty members, and all the participants. I am Harshita Tamane. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on the behalf of MBA first semester students, wish to express our deep sense of appreciation for Dr. Prashant Salwan, sir, who honored this session with his inspirational thoughts. Sir, this session gave us a lot of knowledge, and with this, it also gave us the strength to face future competition as MBA graduate. We surely gonna apply all the things in future that we have learned today. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable time and thoughts. I must extend our deep sense of appreciation to Principal Ma'am and faculty members for organizing this wonderful and knowledgeable event. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care, ma'am, then.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Paridhi, go ahead.
Warm and graceful morning to our valued honorable guest, Dr. Prashant Salwan, sir, respected DG, sir, Principal Ma'am, worthy teachers, Management Committee, and my friends. I, Paridhi Gupta, is privileged to propose a vote of thanks speech and acknowledge the contribution towards today's informative session.